and shit. I'm not mad at people. People have their opinions and shit, but at the same time, it's just like, dude, we can't always have an Elmatic too. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you, but people forgot how to listen to music. It's so
They
clear to
did.
see. It's so
They
clear.
did. Like, this shit makes me want to do a hell of reviews and shit. But did you hear the Eric Sermon album though?
Yes, I love it.
That shit's fire.
Fire. Break it back.
And they say hip hop is dead because it's not in the charts.
You don't need to be in the thoughts. It started from the streets.
Exactly. Man, I had a good ass nap earlier. Shit. That means I ain't gonna sleep well tonight. Actually, I am. Let me stop. I know I gotta cook breakfast after this review. So a lot has been happening. So the Diddy documentary is still having some repercussions and shit. Now niggas want to sue Netflix now and shit.
And Kathy got CDs and shit. You getting sued for that?
You said what?
Kathy got an STD. You getting sued for that?
Really?
Yeah.
Lord have
One
mercy.
one of the guys that she slept with had an STD.
Oh my goodness. And then Audrey's in the hospital and shit.
As Storm would say, when she's out there living being a hoe, that
Like I said, we got to talk about the Eddie Murphy documentary because I want to end this year off with some positive shit.
yeah.
I feel like that Eddie Murphy documentary, no one's talking about that because they talk about the Diddy did. Because you say you haven't seen the Eddie Murphy one, right?
Uh,
You say you haven't seen the Eddie Murphy documentary, right?
yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it. Later.
Let me know. Let me know. What up, Q? How you living? Everlasting love. Man, this whole Nas and Primo, man, shit. We've been waiting for this review. We've been waiting.
Yeah, but it's too long for this shit.
I didn't think it was actually going to come out.
I was skeptical. I was like, something gonna happen. It's actually here.
Yeah, this Legend has its series, man. It's been doing a lot of good for hip hop.
Sure.
Your love, your love, your love. Oh yeah, tomorrow's Q's birthday. Happy birthday to Q. How old you want to be, Q? All right, who else is here? What's up, Sam? You said Lionel Richie has a book called True. Yeah, I heard about that book. I heard about it. All right, time is it? 4 minutes in. All right, let's jump right. Let's just talk about this shit. Hold on. I can do the album anniversary and the Billboard after the review. Fuck it. I'm not in a rush to do that shit. Let's just jump right straight to it. But I want to get a few more people watching. That's the thing. We ain't talking about no 21 Savage here. We ain't talking about 21 Savage. We ain't talking about no Diddy shit. We just talking about real hip hop.
It's the same age as you. So he turning 30.
Oh, he's turning 30. Oh, wow. He's the same age as me. I never knew that.
Oh, y'all are 30 now. Wow.
Oh yeah, we 30, man. We 30.
30-30 club, huh?
Honestly, Q, I thought you were younger than me. I don't know why.
Damn, it's 31. Damn, y'all niggas got old.
Who's 31?
Sam is 31. I'm pretty 31.
Oh wow. Alright.
Don't work with them.
I'm ready whenever you are.
So,
What's up, you two? How's y'all doing? This your boy Reg in the building. I got my homeboy trying to build it with me.
so,
And the album that we're going to talk about today is Nas and DJ Premier with their recent album that they came out with, Light Years. This shit came out this past Friday, December 12th, 2025 on Master P Records. Um, this is pretty much the finale of the whole Legend Has It series, which we've been talking about a lot throughout this year with albums like Raekwon's album, and then you had Slick Rick's album and shit like that. We just talked about De La Soul. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, this album was entirely produced by DJ Premier. It's on his Master Pure label and whatnot too. You know what I'm saying? Guest appearances include Steve Miliband and AZ. Now,
I
at this
did see,
point, we all you saw what?
I did see that. I was wondering why the Steve Miller Band posted up the album. Because I didn't understand why they were doing it.
Oh yeah, man, Steve Miliband.
What song are
They,
they
they
on?
that song time that song is time.
Okay, makes
Yeah,
sense.
that
Yeah.
time keeps on
That,
ticking,
but
tick
that sample been used by a lot of other artists.
for real. EPMD, just to name a few.
Heavy D and the Boys.
You said who?
Heavy D and the Boys.
Oh yeah, that's facts.
Who's the man?
Hell,
Yeah.
even Seal covered that song
Yeah.
and shit like, which I did not like that Seal cover. I'm like, nah, nigga, nah. Like, I never really cared for Seal, but Fly Like an Eagle. That the original version is just so ill and so psychedelic. Seal just made that version more poppy and stuff like that. Which it is what it is. Mm.
I would love for Nas to perform that with the Steve Miller Band live.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, man. Oh shit. But yeah, so Nas and Primo and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? We should know that they have a very lucrative history with one another. So it dates back to Illmatic. You know what I'm saying? Because Primo did some of the most iconic shit on Illmatic, like New York State of Mind, Memory Lane, and Sitting in the Park. Excuse me, and Represent. Excuse me. Um, three of the most iconic songs in Illmatic. The whole album was iconic, but still. And then 1996, it was written. He did "I Gave You Power," which was one of the all-time greatest storytelling hip hop songs of all time. You know what I'm saying? Fast forward to 1999, he appeared on two of Nas albums that Nas came out with that year. He appeared on New York State of Mind Part Two and Nas's Life on the I Am album. I Am gets so much shit, it's not even funny.
A great album.
It's a very great album. And then we got to Nostradamus. He did Come Get Me. You know what I'm saying? Um, then fast forward to 2001, he did Second Childhood from Stillmatic, which I feel like that's a very dope record. That's like one of my all time favorite Nas and Primo collabs that they've done. I love the way how they flipped that Peebo Bryson sample, that doom 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 do 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 bum 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 classic. And then that was pretty much at the time the last song that Primo did on a Nas album for a couple of years, and then 2007, Nas, Kanye, Karis One, and Rakim, they did the DJ Premier song "Classic" for the Nike promotion, which I feel like that was a very dope record and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. And so, pretty much, you know what I'm saying. They've been doing each other's thing, doing their things and stuff like that. I know. I think Primo did some scratches on a Nas song from with ASAP Rocky. I think it was on like Magic Two and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. And everyone has been talking about when they're gonna drop an album because they've been announcing that they're gonna do an album together for a couple of years and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? But Primo was too busy doing a lot of other projects, and Nas was busy doing his own shit. You know what I'm saying? So they had to wait till their schedules align with one another and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? And finally, 2025, that's when this album finally came out, like this past Friday and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. Definitely. Very excited to finally talk about this joint right here. You know what I'm saying? This is the album cover right here. Very dope and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? Just it just has like it just has like them, looking like they're lighting up some lighters and some shit like that, kind of like in a tunnel like room and shit. You know what I'm saying? So very dope. Very dope and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. So this album got about 15 tracks. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to get started. You know how we always do. We're going to get started talking about what we like about the songs, history, interesting tidbits and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? Uh, so yeah, I'm definitely ready to talk about this. We're gonna start off with track number one. My life is real. You know what I'm saying? Nice way to kick off the album and shit like that. So you know what I'm saying? Just Nas and Primo, just like reclaiming that chemistry and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? I know Benny the Butcher is also on the intro as well too. I think they did a sample of his voice and everything. Um, Nice way to kick off the album and stuff like that. So you know what I'm saying? Just them reflecting on that positive impact that they made on the culture. I fucking love it.
I like this. Wasn't nothing too heavy right away. They started off with something light, nice beat, nice piano chords on this. You got, Nas shouting out to all the artists from Mass Appeal this past year that dropped a release, saying, look at us now. Bill our mob, Ray, Coates, and Rick, Big Up, Miguel, Prodigy, True Boy, they live. Martyrs, if you will, a legend has a cartel. One Jets and Giants and Bill Parcells. Love the fact that he shouted out all the artists that came out with Keep Going this year. It's been a great year. It's been a great year for hip hop all around, not just the Mass Appeal releases, but I feel like this year was stronger than last year, and they started off with an album and set the tone with this track for what's to come.
Yeah, definitely. This one definitely set the tone perfectly and everything like that too. Which leads us to the track number two, Get Ready. Now, this track right here, the best way to describe the beat is what if DJ Premier did the Made You Look beat? That's pretty much the best way I describe this. It shows Nas flexing his lyrical prowess on some funky old school type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Loving when Nas gets down like this and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? When he shows off his inner New York, his inner Queensbridge and shit like that too. My nigga, he said a line like he said, "Think it's a shame these kids say they see no Freakniks. DC Howard homecomings and wild weekends. Yeah, this shit makes me miss college." Youngsters said, "When I'm grown, I'm grown. They got grown, start clubbing, doing drugs we wasn't. When I was young, I only wanted Moe. I only saw the next 10 minutes ADHD. I guess you know." He was just killing this shit like and stuff like that. This beat definitely reminds me of some shit from motherfucking Made You Look and some shit like that too. So I fucking love it.
I thought it was dope. He was fired the scrapping about Primo, the baseline, on knock on his Biggie flow, Jesus, the king out of Queensbridge, that he was with the lyrical teacher. I love the fact that he paid homage to Big with that on the beginning verse and what he said, taught some of y'all how to dress, but some of y'all still a mess. Loved it. Loved the track. Fire.
Definitely. Yes, I definitely agree with you about that. Now probably the most talked about track on this album and everything like that too. New York State of Mind, New York State of Mind, part three. Now, what I liked about this one was that they used this classic sample of the Billy Joel song of the same name and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Which I feel like that Billy Joel song was like one of those songs that really put him out there and stuff like that too. That was I think that was from the Turnstiles album from like '76, which is a very underrated album. But besides the point, yeah, he was Nas was on his gully kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? The beat definitely has a very orchestral feeling compared to like the previous two. Like the first one, the first New York State of Mind definitely has a more grittier stick up kick kind of feel. Whereas like New York State of Mind 2 sound like some shit that was recorded. Like the best way to describe New York State of Mind 2 is like in a stairway cellar or some shit like that in a wintry night. I don't know. I'm just saying some shit in my head. But New York State of Mind 3 just sounds more modern and contemporary and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I love the line where he says, I can name some clubs that no longer exist. The Limelight, the Tunnel, the Palladium. Rest in peace to all three of them. Those are very influential clubs in hip hop. Letting y'all know. All night we stayed and then fly. Wave in the sky. It was made in NY. And wouldn't trade it to this day that you die. The most hated, and I think we know why. Now, rappers we know as legends drifting close to heaven. Some are living in present day. I miss 87. And Queens was a teen then. A kid with a chain. Holding a pen and wrote pain. We'll never see this again. Oh my God. And they say Nas fell off, boy. They say Nas fell off, man. What the fuck are y'all even talking
They're not
about?
saying Nas. They talking about Primo. They ain't saying Nas on here.
No, some people say Nas too. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. For once, what's her name? Dat. For once, Daft Punk, whatever. I don't know. I agree with you and stuff like. Wait. You said, oh, you said I don't know how anyone can listen to this album much. It's so boring. Oh hell no.
Listen,
I read that wrong.
I don't know what
How was
y'all
it
listening
boring?
to.
How was
I don't know what they listening to. You can't sit there and want this album for 30 years and then once it come out, y'all complaining like, oh, I don't like it. It's Primo. It's not Primo. You know what I'm saying? Like there's nothing about this album compared to the shit that he did back in 2011, 2012. Compared to the shit that he's been doing shit for Miley Cyrus, doing shit for 21 Pilots and Russ and Chance the Rapper. This is his best shit since then. I don't know what y'all listening to. It can't be the same album. I know it's not. Or maybe y'all listening, through your AirPods. Take the AirPods out. It don't have the same feeling when you listening to it on speakers compared to AirPods. It's a different feeling. I promise you that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not from this AirPod era. You know what I'm saying? Like our era, we were bumping shit on our boomboxes and loud home speakers. It's a different feeling when you're bumping this album on loudspeakers compared to AirPods. You know what I'm saying? If you've been going to concerts and festivals for the last 30 plus years like me, when you see these artists in concert, they don't sound the same way they do on wax. They sound totally different live.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The beat, I love the beat. The only issue that I hear people talking about is, oh, well, why didn't Primo flip the Billy Joel sample for the whole track? Guess what? It's been done already. You know what
It
I'm saying? There's a
has.
track, there's a track called New York State of Mind with Fat Joe, Remy Martin, and Cameron. They used the whole Billy Joel beat and they killed it. So he's not gonna do what somebody else already did. You know what I'm saying? I thought the beat was eerie. I love the beat. I love the fact that Nas brought up, clubs that's no longer here like the Palladium and the Tunnel, the infamous Tunnel and the Limelight. And even talking about Rikers Island is even different now. You know what I'm saying? He's saying, Rikers should be closed. MDC, the Beacon, wear ice if you real, or they'll rob you and pawn your piece. And if you was locked down for a while, it's a different place now. They building hotels where once a Devil's Playground. I loved it. It's a great sequel to the first two. I don't know what the fuck y'all hearing. Y'all not hearing what I'm hearing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't sit there and I told y'all this was gonna happen. How many times did I come on here, Reg, and I said, if this album is not good, you're gonna hear people complaining. What are they complaining about? I've been saying this for like since the pandemic. Like, yo, Primo is a different. He's not the same producer like he once was back in the '90s. He's using new equipment now, right? And
Right.
and and part of that problem is we're no longer in the analog era. It's digital. So a lot of his beats were like analog, had like that real grainy, gritty, dusty sound. You don't have that when you're working with digital stuff. And
Exactly.
you a producer, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm saying? The album is fire. I don't know what the fuck y'all expecting from dude after 30 something years.
People just expect so much from so little. But hey, it is
The
what it
album
is.
sounds gentrified. This gentrified is not a sound. I don't know what the fuck you talking about. You sound stupid.
Gentrified. Mm.
That's not a sound.
I don't know what gentrified hip hop is either. To be real. All right. Well, next track we got is "Welcome to the Underground" and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? Another one that was dope as cool songs and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? This was actually one of those songs that was previewed ahead of time. I think Primo dropped it at a concert or some shit like that too. Very, very, very dope. Nas going back to his roots with this one and shit like that too. So yeah, I fuck with this one.
I love this joint. This joint, I don't know if this is gonna be a single, but it sounds like it's ready made for a single. Like it's like one of those joints like if you turn on like the NFL or the NBA game and they're playing it at the commercial break, that's the sound that he gives me. I love the beat, the funky bass line by Preem. You had Nas saying, hear the street confessions. If you kill a legend, now you a legend. The one who took out a legend, he needs to be a legend, allegedly. Tell you corny niggas a cornstarch. I love that line by him. Fire track. Mecca salute. Yo, we gotta let them know, bro. Like they listening to real hip hop through their ear pods. It's not the same feeling. Get rid of the ear pods and get some speakers.
They'll know. Trust me, they'll know. All right. Next joint we got is called Madman. One of my favorite joints from this album. Definitely this album. This song definitely has a 99 feel to it and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much he's giving a shout out to like a lot of the rap legends and shit like that too. That's good in the pen game and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like give a shout out to Wu Tang, Snoop, you know what I'm saying, Biggie, himself, saying that he's still Nasty Nas. He's still the Nasty Nas from 1991 that was on Main Sources Live at the Barbecue. You know what I'm saying? Coming straight from the Breaking Adams album and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? An album to this day, I'm surprised I do not have in my collection up to now, which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. Very, very, very dope joint, right? I love it.
I love this. This sounds like vintage Primo. on this track. The eerie melody, the beat, the bass line. You know, you got a clip of Ralph McDaniels talking in the beginning of the track, and you got Nas saying, "In fact, everything in my head make bread. I make hip hop and symphony souls start to spread. There's still nothing is sweet. You can tell just by bumping this beat. So nasty since '91, nothing competes. Before Snoop, before Wu, before Big, there was a young kid with small dreads from the bridge." And he had to remind people that he's done hits with Poke and Tone, the Track Masters, and it's almost 30 years now. People still wanted this album. They finally get the album. Now they shitting on it. Like, come on, what y'all
And,
wanted?
and, and, and
They sat up there when you did the sixth album on with Hit Boy. They were complaining. When we gonna get the album with Preem? You got the album with Preem, and they're not happy.
and mind you, these were the same niggas that was talking mad shit about, oh, Nas was going pop when he was working with Trackmaster, and now that the same niggas, they want that sound from Nas too and shit like
Listen,
that. So
the
see,
album don't need. Listen, the thing is, we were spoiled in the '80s and '90s and even early 2000s. We were spoiled off of everything coming out was great, right? When we get to a point now, hip hop 50 years plus, and some of these albums, it's not an immediate classic to people when they first hear it, because no album is classic the minute you hear it.
right.
It has to grow with time. You know what I'm saying? And for some reason, people are in the rush to label shit a classic or it's whack, and you got to grow with these albums. I've been saying this shit for years, and it's like it goes through one ear and out the other. This album is phenomenal. I don't know, understand what people wanted.
I don't understand either, but you know what I'm saying? Hey, it's you. What can you do at the end of the day? That's the thing. What can you do? You know what I'm saying? It's like I feel like the people that say this. Yeah, I'm gonna be real with you. The people that want to bash this album, they're the motherfuckers who got into Nas pretty late, and they got into Nas late. Hold
So
on,
what?
let me finish. Like they just so enthralled by like the early Nas because the way how the hip hop community we discuss albums like Illmatic and It Was Written and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? Which is both hip hop classics. You know what I'm saying? This generation, it's like they feel like with this album alone, they're not used to growing like how the contemporary sounds of like boom bap or that traditional hip hop sound is. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, if he would have done an album like I'm grateful he didn't do an album like this years earlier because I don't want to hear Nas over no kind of trap shit, and everything like that. And we've all heard people say, "Oh, Nas is a bad beat picker." Vlad started that stupid shit. I'm gonna be real. DJ Vlad, he started that stupid shit. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Because as bad as albums like Hip Hop is Dead and everything, it did have some good beats he was flowing on. And I feel like albums like the Untitled album and stuff like that, even Distant Relatives, I feel like those kind of get shitted on, but those were some good production. Like, and people have said that because they wanted Primo back, they wanted Large Professor. They already gave up hope on Pete Rock and stuff like that because we all know the situation with him and Pete and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? But they wanted Nas to be on that grimy shit, but they hear Nas on like this whole grown up positive view. They don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Because they want to experience what the past has experienced. If that makes sense.
no, no. He is not still in Queensbridge. This is not 1994. He is
I
in a
know.
where he's at in his life. The man is 50 years old. He's a mogul now. Okay, I don't understand what it's like. People wanted a 15 track album of New York State of Mind for every track. There's grimy shit on here, and you have your melodic shit, and you got your grown up boom bap on here. It's a well balanced album. The problem is when it comes to Primo sound, because he's using new equipment, he doesn't have that. It was like a certain sound, a certain swing to his beats because it was on analog. It's not on analog no more. Everything is on digital now. So it's not gonna have that same staticky crackling of the vinyl a type of sound like it did back in the '90s. But for what he's doing right now, the Della album, he killed it. For this album, he killed it. So I will say this album and the Della album saved him because I felt like if those two, if he gave some whack beats to this album and to the Della album, he would have been done. But I really feel like he saved his best shit for the Daylight album and for the Nas album. That Ransom album was trash. There's only like a good 2 or 3 songs that I like. Same with the Rock Marcy album. He was clearly saving his best shit for Nas. If you followed Primo from, and I ain't talking about from just the '90s. I'm talking about way back when Gangstar started. From No More Mr. Nice Guy. From that album all the way to here, all the albums, the MC8 projects, the Black Poet album, the Limp Bizkit shit, the Christina Aguilera shit, all the stuff that he did all the way to now. It's a different Primo compared to when he was doing shit for Bahamadia and J. Rue and Group Home and all that. Okay, he took a slide for a couple years and he found his way back. I don't like you can't expect Nas at 50 years old to still be rhyming about grimy shit like he's still in Queensbridge. It's not gonna happen.
Exactly. And I feel like people, it's people, they want that sound because they don't want people to evolve. That's the sad part.
Michael Jackson evolved and he's a legend. Look, he wasn't giving us the same Thriller album every time he came out. Prince evolved. And he told Warner Brothers, fuck you, I'm not doing another Purple Rain. Evolution is great. People got to learn to evolve with the times.
All right. Well, that's dope, dope, dope. All right. So next track we got is Pause Tapes. You know what I'm saying? This one right here was another very, 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 very dope track right here, and everything like that too. It's kind of crazy too because you got Havoc in the intro reminiscing about like the first time he made a beat in his cassette player and stuff like that too, and he would have to record the loop, then record the loop, and record the loop. And again, we were just talking about how that part and everything like that too, and then look at how technology has evolved with producing that and in these days and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this pretty much is a song about reminiscing and everything. Nas talking about a lot of the old traditions back in the day, like driving movies and stuff like that too, and then listening to Ron G's mixtapes and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Which Ron G, that's the name y'all should hear, that y'all should know and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? Like he would be known to like take like the hardest hip hop tracks and they had them smooth R&B vocals, which pretty much was like the blueprint for hip hop soul, which made famous definitely by Mary J. Blige, most definitely on the What's the 401 album, and even the remix album too. That's what we do. Try. Not only do we educate, we entertain up this bitch.
I
But yeah, Pause Tapes, very, very, very dope record right here.
love it. And back in the day, like when you would tape off of the radio, and I would tape like before the songs came out officially, like the DJ played it, and we would have like the blank Memorex tapes or TDK tapes, and I would tape the new record, and like when they go to commercial break, I pause the tape, and then when the commercials play, and then they come back, then I would hit record and then play the rest of the the radio show, whether it was Gretchen Barbito or Nighthawks or Teddy Special K and Teddy Ted, college radio underground on Saturday nights. And this take me back to like the '90s when I was taping off the radio and just having that clip of like the guy talking in the beginning of the song and he talking about pausing and then unpausing and making a beat out of the pause tape. And Nas talks says, I moved the dial to improve the sound. Years later, got a Sony stereo system, no comparison with the boombox. My living room. My nigga Mayo next door, he banging on the wall, told us to stop. I love that. Love that. If you grew up in the '80s and '90s, you know what a boombox is. You grew up with that. We had the little Sony joints. We had the Iowa joints. Or there was so many different Panasonic. They were making boomboxes, and it was great times.
You took it back with that Panasonic though. You took it back
Yeah, I
way
had all that. I had the Panasonic joint. I still got another boombox. I had the Panasonic, the Emerson boombox, and Sony boombox, and the yellow joint, and they had like the matching yellow Walkman with it. Crazy, bro.
definitely. All right. So now we're gonna go into a song called Writers. And I know what you guys thinking. He's talking about a lot of writers in hip hop. No, he's actually discussing graffiti art and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? And people forget graffitiing and writing is like one of the elements in hip hop that people forget. I miss when niggas actually did graffiti. I mean, they still do it now, but it's not as raw as it was like back in the day and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he's just giving an ode to the graffiti writers and shit like that. I feel like that was pretty good. I feel like it was something that was pretty original, not like original, but pretty like new at the time. Well, I mean, he brought something back that has not been talked about. You know what I'm saying? That's the best way to put it and everything. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. And actually, it's very original for Nas. 'Cause I never really heard Nas talk about a song where he's highlighting the graffiti artists and shit like that. Or if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments and shit like that. So yeah,
Yeah, again, it was like a great ode to graffiti, which I feel like should be more prominent in today's rap. Just to, I'm not seeing enough of it out there, but just him shouting out the different graffiti writers, and he gave a shout out to Team One from the Artifacts, because they were graffiti writers as well, and he's saying Trap and Vulcan Harlem Hall of Fame, Ice H most famous for freight trains. The mic is a marker. I'm tagging up names. Fire beat. I love the beat. The scratching by Primo. I could definitely see a video for this.
right. All right. We got Sons, Young King. That's the next track right in the building. So yeah, this one is possibly my favorite track on this album. You know what I'm saying? Blah, blah. This track right here, they're talking about, raising kids. Like I feel like this is actually the sequel to Daughters, because with Daughters, he's talking about black men raising black daughters. Now he's talking about black men raising black sons and
Mm.
everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it was a very, 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 very dope track right here and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? This is one line where Nas says, "Playing with toys, playing with toys. Yo, she got an Atari. Those is Miss Ann's boys, Nasir and Jabari. Our youth is constantly fighting institutional racism. In schools, we question the bias. Too little future lions. You know what I'm saying? So that's very a dope line and stuff like that. I like the fact that he's actually doing a song like this and everything.
Like, yeah, like beat was fire, melodic track. Nas talking about the sons. He gave us the daughters joint on Life is Good. I gives us the sons on song called The Young Kings, and rapping about when him and his mom saw the stop sign, and he's asking his mom, "Is that for everybody?" And I loved it. Definitely, I could see this as a single as well. Jabari is his brother Jungle on the Bravehearts, and yeah, this is fire.
Honestly, and not trying to bring Jay Z into this, it kind of reminds me of
Salute.
The Kanye and Jay Z song "New Day" from Watch the Throne. It kind of reminds me of that. You know what I'm saying? Because that
I
was
don't remember them. They were talking about their kids on the record. I don't remember that.
well, they were talking about like what if they had children and what if they had sons and stuff like that too. They were talking about that on that
Right.
song. You know what I'm saying? And I know people will be like, "Well, why you gotta bring Jay Z and Nas?" But all right, shut up, shut up.
Well, we know. I feel like after this, Jay probably gonna be like, "Yo, I'm coming out next year."
I'm surprised Jay didn't come out with anything when Nas
Yeah,
came out with that.
they say he working on something. I don't know.
'Cause Jay and Nas always has like this competitiveness sometimes with
Right,
them,
right.
shit like that. But Jay don't always tell people his plans. He just drops shit when he drops shit. Like he might plan
I
shit.
mean, they always say he's in the studio working on shit. I've been hearing that for years from him. So
Shit, I feel like it's coming close. Maybe, hey, you never know. Maybe the last week of December, maybe Jay might drop a bomb and shit like that.
he might drop something. You know,
Yeah, maybe he might call this album Sean Carter or some shit. You never know. You never know. Who the fuck is this? That's my mom's and shit. I'm gonna let you go on. I'm gonna catch up and shit.
All right, track 9, we got It's Time. We got Nas talking about time travel on here, another innovative track. And the beat was fire. You know, he's sampling the Steve Miller Band joint that so many artists have sampled over the years. And you know, you have Nas saying, you know, kids are doing drive-bys. I'm looking like time flies, squeezing hammers, even when there's cameras up in the sky. Spark the lie with the double out I drive. Pretty thug show no love. It's like when doves cry. Maybe I'm just too much of a smuggler, minded hustler. Time. There's couple hundred covered with the knuckles with diamonds. Fire joint again. Like who? Like how many MCs of his caliber now to do a song about time traveling? You know what I'm saying? And still make it dope and still make it understandable to the listener. And you know, great use of the sample by Primo. Love the beat, the bass line on it. I saw the Steve Miller Band on Instagram post up the album, so I didn't understand why they did it, but now I know why. This is the Steve Miller Band original joint, and I would love to see Nas perform this live with the Steve Miller Band. Then that would be dope, and it would be a good look for hip hop. You know,
Sorry
definitely
about
one of
that.
my favorites. Yeah,
Yeah, I had to talk to mom before she went to bed. Um, what song are we at right now?
beyond his time.
Oh, okay, damn, okay, not that long. Okay. Ooh, yeah. Speaking of the Steve Miller Band and stuff like that, um, fire song right here. They used the classic song sample. I'm not going to tell y'all which some y'all should already know if you're fans of Steve Miller Band. And this song kind of reminds me of like a B side and some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it definitely gives me like a B side feel to it. Maybe something from It Was Written, I Am, and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? Very, very, very dope. I love the way how Nas was floating on this beat. You know, the song they had a lyric called "I Seen It When It First Got Tricky, Dipping Through the City, Whipping New Cars to the herb spots for the sticky. I was the one by the tree in a GS3 with Biggie. Next thing you know, what a time go, it's gone quickly, and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, they definitely. What else, Sean? They definitely did their thing on this one right here. Okay, 18 people watching. Okay,
Yeah, I love it. Definitely creative, innovative. I expect nothing less from Nas.
definitely. Yeah, definitely very creative and whatnot too. You know what I'm saying? This is definitely a beat made just for the motherfuckers to breathe. And that's one thing I've always loved about Boom Bap and everything. The productions that they motherfuckers use and everything. It gives the lyricists time to really flex out their lyrical muscle and everything like that too. The right lyricists, not just any motherfuckers and shit, but not every motherfucker can float on Boom Bap track, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Um, next track we got is called Nasty Esco Nasir. You know what I'm saying? This is a very interesting track and one of my all-time favorite tracks on this album and everything. So, as the title suggests, it pretty much gives you glimpse into like pretty much gives you glimpse into like the career of Nas. Like the first verse is pretty much coming from himself as Nasir and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? He's just coming out and everything like that too. He has like a lot of like inner conflicts with himself. And then once we get to the second verse, we go from Nasty Nas to the Esco and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? Which Nasty Nas, of course, that was like the Illmatic era, and the Esco would be like it was written to like Nostradamus era and stuff like that too. And then the third verse and everything is like how he sees himself now. He's not only a rapper, but he's also a director. He's an author. He's a mogul and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? So, um, I love the line where he says in the third verse, "I'm just scratching the surface. The next phase of Nasir." Phase four, the fourth dimension, the legacies hate. The other things I won't mention, I'm winning when I'm not even trending. Trailblazing the message I'm sending. When you evolve into your true growth, they say you can't do both. You know what I'm saying? Ah, man, that's fire. Fire as hell. and everything. That's another one of my top favorite tracks on this album.
Did you notice that he killed off two of his monikers? He killed off Nasty Nas and Escobar all in one song.
Yeah,
Again,
yeah,
another creative, innovative concept by the god of rap. You know what I'm saying? I love the beat, the eerie melody, the bass line. You had Nas saying there's two types of villains that live in my mind. I define it as one killing with rhyme, the other dealing, supplying. My name is not as common as Muhammad or as popular or as praiseworthy, so I adopted a moniker. So now we see why he had Escobar, you know, for that era. We had Nasty Nas when he first came out, and now he's Nasir Jones. I didn't like Nasir the album, but Nasir Jones the artist is in his best. He's still in his prime now at 50 years old. He's still giving us
right.
quality grown man rap. Again, like this, I can't understand how people could sit up there and listen to a track like this and say, "Oh, this is whack." Like, what do you hear? You know what I'm saying? Like this is some of the best music that this man is giving us. Probably like I like the latter Nas compared to the hip hop is dead Nas. That era when he was giving this shit like hip hop is dead and Untitled. I like this version of Nasir. Nasir Jones, give me that. You know what I'm saying? Like a phenomenal 6 album run with Hit Boy that nobody expected, and then he finally gives us the album that the fans wanted. He didn't have to do that. He said, "You know what? I'm going to give you all a gift this year. Last year was Kendrick with GNX. This year, I'm giving you all, the album with Primo." And I think he delivered on here. Like another creative, phenomenal track by Nas.
For real. So it's been reported that Rob Reiner and his wife were murdered.
Oh, shit. Now, Rector?
Yeah,
Wow.
Meathead,
For
Spinal
what?
Tap.
What do you do?
Some shout out to Mike. He sent me the story a couple minutes ago. He said two people were found dead in his Hollywood mansion and stuff like that. And now TMZ is saying that it was Rob Reiner and his wife. But I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna wait till another people confirm it because TMZ sometimes likes to over sensationalize. But
I didn't even hear that. That's crazy.
wow, whew, Rob Reiner. Wow. Anyway, let's get back to something more positive and shit like that because that's gonna fuck my night up. Um, so yeah, I definitely hear what you're saying about this song right here. You know what I'm saying about how he's just reflecting on his career, but at the same time he's like him looking forward and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? And again, this is what he was talking about in albums like Life is Good and shit like that too. But niggas, I don't know why, but lately I've been seeing a lot of motherfuckers kind of bash that album a little bit. I don't know what it is, but there's been like a people side eyeing Life is Good.
Can you imagine if Kanye West found himself and he gave us a track where he's killing off the new Kanye and he goes back to old Kanye? That would be so dope.
And now it'll be marketed so people will be so hype about that. That'll be marketed so well and
Right.
stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I heard some of the snippets from the Bully albums. I was like, I mean, it's.
I'm not I heard the early tracks. I'm not it's like still new Kanye. I mean,
I mean, some of the productions I heard from the snippets was alright, but at the same time, I don't know if I'm really ready to hear another Kanye. That whole KKK shit, I don't know if I'm really ready to hear a new Kanye album at this point. And besides, he hasn't really dropped anything good to me
yeah,
in years, production wise.
exactly. Yeah.
I'm just giving my honest opinion to keep it a buck.
He ain't dropped nothing good in years, bro. Like nobody listening to that.
Yeah. Then we got My Story, Your Story, featuring AZ, his partner in crime and everything. I love the fact that they're doing more songs together these days and shit. Because AZ's also been on a good run lately and shit. I'm not gonna hold you and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Pretty dope track. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it is pretty symbolic and iconic and everything like that too, where AZ is on an album that's supposed to have Nas and Primo and stuff like that too. Because you gotta have that AZ feature. You gotta have that AZ feature and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this track right here was pretty dope. This track right here is definitely pretty dope. I love the line where they said fucking orgy, touch your face, two mouths kissing on me, fuck off me, can't fuck them all, that's too costly. Saucy, suck her softly, awkwardly finger fucking her consciously. Talk to me, that's the joy brought thoughtfully. The mature me, there's more to the story glory. Surely switch sides for the lift ride, the fish fry. It's time guys with their money up. Diamond jumping like Bobby with the Gumby cut. You know what I'm saying? Very, 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 very dope. You know what I'm saying? That chemistry is still intact. You know, over 30 years later and stuff, and their chemistry is still intact and everything.
We talk about dynamic duos. Eric Sermon just put out an album called Dynamic Duos. Phenomenal album by Eric Sermon. When we talk about dynamic duos, and we
Ooh,
mentioned Styles and Kiss and Red and Meth, Smith and Wesson, you know, whoever. They always leave out Nas and AZ. And they've had many great collabs from Life's a Bitch to The Essence, Affirmative Action with The Firm, How You're Living. So many dope collabs over the years. I feel like this is the one right here, bro. Like to have AZ the only feature on this album with Nas and Primo, and Primo has done stuff with AZ in the past. He did a joint on I think it was the AWOL album, and I love it. I love the back and forth Mike play with AZ. They feeding off of each other's lines. Thanks to us, more fly living, unless Angel does tangled up in the mountains. Don't let him hang you up. The beat was fire. It's got to be a single, like, and I saw the AZ post. I seen the Mecca put up that. I saw the AZ post yesterday where he said there's more to come. I think we might get a Nas and AZ album next year. That's gonna be fire. That's another album from that we want from Nas. For so many years, they were asking AZ in interviews like, "Yo, when you and Nas gonna link up? When you're gonna do the album?" So I think he's gonna give us that next, and I can't wait. Like AZ, most underrated from New York City. He definitely has an underrated discography, and I would love to hear that Nas and AZ album. It's long overdue. You got to get that. And this to me was a fire collab. And this I think like once that album come out, that's gonna put them in that discussion to talk about dynamic duos. And they got a lot of heat together that people forgot about.
right. Definitely, definitely. Yeah, man. That Dynamic Duos album, Eric Simmons, I fuck with that shit. I definitely wanted to talk about that at some point. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you're down for to talk
Yeah, we
about
can
it.
do that. We can do that.
Okay. I'll let you know sometime this week. I have more free time and everything. But after listening to that Dynamic Duos, I'm sorry. All I want to say about that album, I want to start to have a drop some new music because
Mhm.
that track that they were on though, that shit was hot.
Mhm.
But what's the next track we're going to talk about? Speaking of ladies, bouquet to the ladies. Nas giving his love to a lot of the female rappers and everything in the past, and even showing love to some of the female rappers that's doing their thing today. Like Doja Cat and Sexy Red and stuff like that too. Which I ain't gonna hold you, I'm not the biggest Sexy Red fan, but respect for him for giving love to her and stuff like that. Ice Spice. He also gave love to a lot of female MCs that don't get a lot of love, like Hurricane G, rest in peace. Miss Melody, rest in peace to her. Sugar T, which was E40's sister, your favorite rapper. Um, Nefertiti,
Yeah.
and everything
You didn't
like that
mention
too.
the
You know what
Brat
I'm
though.
saying?
You
So,
didn't mention the Brat.
man,
You didn't mention the Brat on here.
you said what?
You didn't mention the Brat.
I could have sworn. Oh wow, I could have sworn
I
he did. Oh wow.
don't think you mentioned the Brat on here.
Oh well.
You know, I like it. I like the
Well, there's
beat.
so many female rappers and shit.
It was a great ode to like the female MCs of all decades, and we mentioned the new ones, the older ones. The beat was fire. The horns on it, the scratching by Primo. I like it. This is fire.
Yeah, it was definitely fire. Alright, next track we got is Junkie. That's the next track. So yeah, this track right here was some gutter shit right here too. This is this song is pretty much another classic example of Nas's classic metaphor because when he's talking about junkie, he's not talking about like a drug addict. He's talking about like a fiend of hip hop and everything like that too, which pretty much goes back to his first song, The Fiend of Hip Hop, that has him stuck like a crack by that line coming from the world is yours and everything like that too. Him just talking about how he still loves the hip hop scene and everything like that too. How Primo is behind. I think he bought that studio and everything like that 2 years later and shit. You know what I'm saying? So very 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 dope record. I love it.
Love it. Like a hip hop junkie? That's what we always hear. That's what we call ourselves. A lot of us, we need more of it. We can't get enough. I love the fact that Nas made a whole record about that, and it's like hip hop is a drug for us. And he said, bro, I'm supposed to kick this habit. Done with it, having fun with it, hard to let it go. How could you when you love with it? I need it in my arteries. It keeps calling me. Love the beat, fire. A lot of the hip hop junkies are gonna definitely love this record. That's because he called it junkie, and the song could have been about something else regarding junkies, but he made it about hip hop and how he still loves it. He's still passionate about it, and that's what I love from Nas. And it shows. It shows all through this whole album that he's still passionate about what he does.
Right. Shit. This whole Rob Reiner shit's blowing up the internet right now. Shit. Yeah, very passionate about the hip hop scene and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? And I don't give a fuck what no one says. I still love hip hop to this day. I don't give a fuck what no one says. Shit. Um, Next song we got is "Shine Together" and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? Another one of my favorite tracks on this album and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? One thing I got from this track right here is how laid back and melodic this record was. You know what I'm saying? Where this record definitely captures Nas at his best and everything like that too. Like I mentioned to you before, how boom bap gives the lyricist time to breathe and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of funny too because the shine together line, the the shine together line came from the diddler and everything from the song Victory and stuff like that too, you know what I'm saying? Which the line, yo, the sun don't shine forever, but as long as it's here, we might as well shine together and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mentioned in the Diddy on this Nas record, you can't escape the diddler. Anyway, um, very, very, very dope record right here and everything like that too, you know what I'm saying? Dope scratches from motherfucking those scratches from DJ Premier and stuff like that too. Also, speaking of Bad Boy, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but y'all know, me and Troy were talking about this, how Nas was originally supposed to have been on a remix for "Give Me the Loot," but I think he passed on a studio session and some shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? Claiming that he got too fucking high and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So, the Biggie verse that you guys heard on Young G's Young G's the song from No Way Out, that verse was supposed to have been for Give Me the Loot remix, which is kind of crazy if you think about it.
You talking about Biggie's verse on Young G's?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't even know. I like this record. This is vintage Primo on here. The beat, scratching by Primo. You got Nas saying the wise one, high off the blunt smoke, worrying about the next man with stuff broke. Let's do my shadow boxing and jump rope. Fire. The beat, yo, when I first heard the beat, it sounded like you remember on Big Pun's second album, the joint that nigga shit.
Yeah,
Beat sounds similar to that. Like the melody sounds similar. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, like how come this shit sounds so familiar to me? And I'm like, yo, this sound like the Big Pun joint from the Year Baby album, but this is fire though. I definitely enjoyed it.
definitely. And the last track on this album was it's called Third Childhood, which is a sequel to the song Second Childhood from Stillmatic and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Very, very, very dope sequel and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Just Nas still on his, we gotta act our age, not our shoe size and everything like that too. I love the fact that it still has the same chorus and everything like that from the Second Childhood and everything, you know what I'm saying, which you guys should know came from Nas's like and everything, you know what I'm saying? So and the second verse, he's talking about how he assisted with the hip hop 50, the whole hip hop 50 time and everything like that too, you know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
nice way to end off this album.
I love the fact that Nas spoke on, hip hop having a limit. You shouldn't have a limit because in rock and roll, there's no age limit for them. Ozzy Osbourne, rest in peace, he's still wearing, all black nail polish and all that. You know what I'm saying? And they don't get the flack that our genre gets. You know what I'm saying? And I love the fact that Nas mentioned that in the record. Is it time to take off the Scully, the Timbs, and the fitted caps? Time to let go of the weed, can let the jeans sag. Ozzy Osbourne still got his fingernails black. Rock and roll is still rebels any age that they at. But with rap, it's a time limit. No, love the fact that he addressed that. And like we've been saying, like I feel like Nas got the ball rolling for the last couple of years and showing people like, yo, you could be 50 years old and still drop classic quality rap. And we've seen it all this year with our legends, with Ray and Ghost and De La Soul. Slick Rick had a great album. The Clips coming back and reuniting, and they had one of the best albums of the year. And I love it. I love the fact that our legends is shitting on the young cats. The young cats, ain't too many young cats that we fuck with that we can say like, yo, they had a great album this year. Like it's all about the legends.
Right. Yeah, man, these legends they're killing it right now and stuff.
Yeah,
TT was asking, what do you think about the Cuddy's free album that came out this year?
you know,
That's a happy sounded.
we're not mentioning nobody else but Nas and Primo.
I feel you on that. All right. So overall, my humble opinion, this is actually a very great album, in my opinion. Very dope album. Nice way to cap off the legacy between Nas and Primo and everything. This might be some of my favorite Primo beats he's done in recent years and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? Because as a Primo fan, I do admit that some of his beats in recent years have been kind of hit or miss and everything like that too. You know what I'm saying? But this album right here, yeah, he was pretty much saving his shit for Nas, like saving his great shit for Nas and stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, yeah, I'm not gonna fuck up Nas and stuff. I'm not gonna fuck this shit up. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely fuck with the album. I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5.
Reg, what have I been saying for the last couple of years on this platform, on my platform, on other platforms? I've been saying like, yo, if Primo don't bring that heat, he might be over with. He might be done. Right? People back then said I was crazy. Oh, you crazy, Trial. You know what you talk about. Right? I said that
Right,
for a reason. Because I followed this man's career from the beginning with Gangstar all the way to now. Okay, and not just listening and picking and choosing different releases to listen to from what he's done. Everything. The pop stuff he's done, the R&B stuff he's done, the rock stuff he's done. He dabbled in other genres, hip hop stuff, the Prime albums, like I said, like the Prime first two albums, Black Poet from Screwball, the MC8 albums and all that, everything, not just the gangsta stuff. I've been saying for the last 7, 8 years, Primo was not the same. He wasn't sounding the same. You know what I'm saying? There was a certain sound that he had. When you listen to like the gangsta, classic gangsta stuff, X Go to the Next Girl, Take It Personal, Dwick, you know, Mass Appeal, he had a certain sound. He had that staticky, dusty sound. Okay? There's the equipment that he's using now is very different. He's not using the same equipment like he once was. It's no more analog, right? And I noticed that with songs he's done for Joey Badass, with Chance the Rapper. Like I said, like he did a drink for Russ earlier this year. I know people didn't hear it. Um, it was very different. I've been saying this. I'm like, yo, if this album comes out, people finally wanted this for 30 years, and if it doesn't hit, what are they gonna say about Primo then, right? And I've seen it for the last couple of days. People saying, "Oh, it's not Nas, it's Primo. Primo the beats. They don't like the beats, or they feel like the bottom half of the album is better than the first half." I've been saying this, and even up to this year with the two projects he came out with the Rock Marcy album, I liked a couple songs. I didn't think it was a great all around project. The same with Ransom. I only like 3 songs from the Ransom album. I don't think it was a great project, but I do feel like once the De La Soul album came out, the best tracks on it to me were from Pete Rock and Primo. It had
Right.
the best tracks on that album. I think Primo found himself again with that album. But we got to remember, even with the De La album, Pop News even said a lot of those tracks were already recorded from during the pandemic because they were doing a whole Pete Rock and Premier album. So whatever track that they had, they put on the album. So that's from a couple years ago. But he found himself on that album. And then going into this album, I'm like, yo, like he's clearly saved the best shit for Nas on this album. Clearly saved the best shit for Nas on here. You know what I'm saying? And it's I do feel like there's certain tracks that on here when you hear it, it has that grimy gangster sound like Madman or like Pause Tapes. And then there's other songs like Welcome to the Underground or even the first track, it sounds more polished. And who's another producer that we always talked about that had a grimy, dusty sound and he lost it along the way? The RZA. The RZA is a perfect example. When you listen to any of the 36 Chambers and the first wave of the Wu solo albums, the Takal, Cuban Link, Iron Man, Liquid Swords, he was in his bag. We had that grimy, dusty sound, and he switched it up for Wu Tang Forever. It was more polished. He was using live instruments, and RZA hasn't been the same in a very long time. But with Primo, I feel like I don't ever think we'll get that same dusty analog sound all the time, but I think we'll get it every now and then. You know what I'm saying? Even on the Rock Marcy project, he had tracks where he had that vintage sound, but it wasn't for the whole project. Even for the Ransom album, it was the same thing, but it wasn't for the whole entire project. But I do feel like he came through in the clutch. I don't know what people are listening to. Again, like if you're listening to this album with AirPods, it's very different listening to an album with headphones on compared to listening to it through speakers.
Exactly.
And I feel like people got to start going back to their boom boxes if you have one still, or if you don't have a speaker system, get one and play these albums again loud, not just at headphone volume. It's very different. But I've heard albums for years through headphones. It's very different listening to it with headphones on. And I think that's what I'm seeing. There's a lot of people that's they're hearing it going to work and going to school through their headphones, but you're not listening to it through a sound system. and it's very different. Or if you got a car with a nice sound system, it's very different hearing it through a sound system in a car or at home compared to AirPods. You know what I'm saying? The
Hmm.
problem is to me. I feel like it's not even the beats necessarily that people feel like is whack. I think they're missing that vintage, dusted, monotone, crackly, crackling of the vinyl sound that Primo always had, and he doesn't have that anymore. Or like he has it, but it's not consistent. It's once in a blue. Like whereas back in the 80s and 90s, he had it all the time. That's the main issue that I see people complaining about. That's the real issue. It's not the beats. It's the sound of the beats. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because you can make a beat and you can have the beat sound and you could distort the sound of the beat any way that you want. It could be dusty or it could be crystal clear. And I think that's the main issue that I'm seeing with people saying they don't like the production from Primo. It's not necessarily the beats, it's the sound of the beats that they don't like. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But for me, I think he killed it. I think the production was great. This is to me his best producing in 7 or 8 years. By far. By far. You know what I'm saying? Like if you follow Premier and his discography from the beginning to now, then you know what I'm talking about. Because like a lot of the joints that he was doing for like the newer artists like West Side Gun and Griselda and Joey Badass, it was garbage. But it's like they were just saying, "Oh, well, I want a beat from Premier just to say that I got a beat from Premier," and that was it. And he wasn't doing a lot of collab albums like Pete Rock or DJ Muggs or Alchemist or Marco Polo. Those producers were they took it upon themselves to do a lot of the collab albums with the newer artists. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Alchemist is having a phenomenal run, working with older artists and newer artists, and he's done that for a minute. But Primo hasn't done that. He's only done collab albums with Rock with Rock Marcy, Ransom. He did the two Prime albums. He did the album with Black Poet from Schoolboy. He did the album with what's the name with Bumpy Knuckles, the collection. Yeah, and Nas is on that album, the collection. He's on a song called "Turn Up the Mic," and that's a remix, and he killed it. You know what I'm saying? And that was like some of the last great monotone, dusty beats from Primo. That was like back in like 2012, I think that came out. You know what I'm saying? But he hasn't done a lot of collab albums with people. But this is the one album where it was heavily anticipated, and even in there's a song on here where he mentioned, forgot the name of the song, where he mentioned like this is like the biggest album. People kept asking him about it since Dre and Detox, and you know what happened with Detox? That never came out. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And I think he delivered. I really feel like this is gonna go down as one of the best Nas albums of his whole career. I love it. I don't have nothing bad to say about it. I think it was very innovative and creative. A lot of the songs that he made, killing off his two personas on Nasty, Esco, and Nasir, a brilliant track.
How we
The
buy it?
uh,
I'm sorry. A comment said this shit trash. Y'all dudes bias. How we
yeah,
bias?
we're not biased at all. Because if it was trash, I would have. Listen, I've come on here. I've come on here before and said I didn't like Untitled. I thought that was trash. I liked the album concept, but I didn't like the beats for that album. I didn't like Hip Hop Is Dead. So yeah, I will be the first one to tell you Nas had some bad albums in his discography, but this ain't one of them at all. The Nas Day album was trash too, and that was all done by Kanye West. You know what I'm saying? This album was phenomenal. The time traveling track, I love that joint. Is Time. I love the what's the other track? The pause tapes where he's talking about like back in the day making the pause tapes with the beat. I love that. He's still in his bag lyrically. I think Primo again. It's not the same Primo like the analog monotone era. That era is gone. So I feel like now people gotta like it's like they almost gotta readjust their ears to hear a different Primo now in 2025. But I think
Right.
even with that, I think he definitely came through in the clutch with this album. The New York State of Mind beat, I love it. I know people don't like the sample that he used for the Billy Joel sample, but again, it's been used before, and I don't think Primo's gonna do something that was already done. He wanted to go a different route, and I have no problem with it. I think the album was fire. A Billion 4.5. I think it's one of the best albums of the year. People don't like what we got to say, they don't watch us.
Nah, give me the views. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, you like that drama. I don't like shit like that. It's like, what are y'all here for? Y'all here for the hip hop, or y'all here for bullshit?
I feel you. I So I'm gonna end this off with the album anniversary for today and shit like that before I leave. You know what I'm saying? So today's album anniversary is a soundtrack from one of Try's favorite movies and shit. Um, Next Friday, you know what I'm saying? Next Friday, this is the soundtrack that came out December 14th, 1999, and shit like that, which I think came out like a month before the movie. You know, this is a sequel to Friday. I can already tell y'all this right now. This soundtrack is not touching the first one and everything like that too. I mean, it has some joints though, but it has some filler here and there. This song has our songs like "You Can Do It" with Cube, Mac 10, and Miss Toy. This was Don Mega, Ice Cube. Aaliyah's I Don't Wanna" is on this album. Pretty dope song. Crazy Bone Friday. You got the NWA reunion with Chin Check. Vita and Ja Rule with "We Murderers Baby," which I think that was also on the Murderers compilation album that came out like 2001, I think. So yeah, you ever heard this Next Friday soundtrack? I think Try's gone and everything like that too, but I think Try's gone. But yeah, man. Um, all right, I'm gonna read off a few more people. I know a lot of people on the comments say that they do love this album. People say that they don't love this album and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? They don't love this album and stuff like that too. But like I said, I don't give a fuck. I definitely respect people's opinions. I definitely respect people's opinions and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? Give me 1 second. Yeah. Alrighty. Yeah, I definitely feel like this album's a contender for a top hip hop album of this year and shit like that too. Q said, "What do I think about Snoop Dogg and Dash Dillinger beefing?" Um, Honestly, that's no surprise for me. 1 minute they're beefing, next minute they not beefing and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? That's no surprise for me and stuff like that too. Um, it's funny too because it's not the first time I heard people beef with Snoop Dogg over his business practices and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And I know Dad was talking about the copyrights, the publishing for the Death Row days and shit too. You know what I'm saying? But it's just crazy. It's just that actually I feel like it shouldn't have been taken to social media and whatnot. That's just my personal opinion. You said y'all seen the Kanye documentary that came out in September. Um, which one? Are you talking about the Netflix one? I didn't know there was another Kanye documentary that came out. Don said his best album since Stillmatic. I'm not mad about that. I know he came out with a lot of great albums post Stillmatic and shit like that too. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. I see a lot of people loving this album. I see a lot of people loving this album. Yeah, no problem, Key. I hope you have a wonderful birthday. Hope you have a wonderful birthday. But all right, y'all. I'm actually about to end this off right here because I gotta get ready for work in the morning and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I gotta be up at least by 6 a.m. So I don't know why I'm still up. But hope everyone has a wonderful night, and I'll see y'all niggas later. Make sure y'all stream this album and cop it. Peace.